Mic check. Mic check. Mic check. Okay, there we go. Now we have sound. Now I'm not just blathering to myself. Wow, okay, so you didn't hear any of that. Okay, so what I've been saying is that we are drawing a young warrior here who is has been accosted by a sort of hired goon. And so what she's doing is she is defending herself against an attack, but not even like properly fighting. She's just totally in control of the situation. Of course, she'll need to be quite muscular in order to be an effective fighter. You need to be quite strong in order to be able to carry yourself that confidently. So I'm making her with quite a firm build, let's say. She is seizing the aggressor's arm before they can really make contact with their weapon. So she has seized the other person's arm, and she's bent her arm a little in order to absorb the impact, so that all of the impact is going into her, like pulling her arm back, and not into striking her outstretched arm. I've made the horizon line slanted because it's an action scene, and an off-center horizon line is makes a scene a bit more dramatic, a bit more dynamic. And I'm trying to figure out what she should be doing with her other arm, because again, she's not seeing the need to actually use it because the person she is fighting is not a threat to her. So the other arm is maybe just gonna hang loose. It's actually remarkably difficult to draw, like, just something casually, because you will always draw it, doing something. So I think the trick I'm going to use is slightly bent, because arms do that. Fingers unclenched, just sort of like so. And I'm told that she should be quite angry at her attacker, but as a sort of cold type of anger rather than a sort of expression of rage. So I'm just this is a very generic face that I'm drawing right now. This is not what her finalized face will look like. I have been given a reference for what her face will look like in the end. So I do have something to work off of, but right now we're just going to generic, this is where the face is going to go. All right, now strong biceps, for strong triceps. Alright, now we've slightly actually over-detailed her, and we haven't even drawn her adversary yet. For the adversary, I'm going to use... what's a good adversarial color? Let's say a sort of darker, bloodier red. That's green. That's not the color I wanted. This still looks kind of too friendly, but whatever. It's a kind of red. And we're also just gonna we're gonna make him look quite large and tough here. This is a hired goon. This is someone who is sort of the heavy. They likely sell their services based on how tough they look. So we're gonna give him large features as well. Put their waist roughly about here. And it was... okay, so I've approached this rather irresponsibly. I haven't really plotted out where his waist was going to go, but just so happens it sort of works out. Now he's in like this sort of attack stance. I'm no martial arts expert, but neither is this guy. He's mostly just a hired goon. He's the heavy based on how tough he can look. And he's big and scary, and he does have muscles, so you know he can strike if necessary. And now I'm beginning to see that I have probably set this whole thing a little too high. You're not going to be able to see that he's holding a weapon. And he's trying to bring it down on her head. So what we're going to do is we're going to select the whole thing, and we're just going to... we can either move it down or we can shrink it. I'm going to like to... because we do want to sort of fill this space. Like we have this nice horizontal space here, and we do sort of want to fill it, so maybe it's not such a good idea to just shrink it. I think maybe we're gonna have to sacrifice a bit of that leg there, because we don't want to, but we're gonna have to shrink it anyway, because just to show that they're holding a weapon. That's fine. We can always add a few other elements in the background to give it a bit more visual interest. Yeah. It does put us in the slight quandary that we're not really going to fill up our screen space anymore. Let's put this down here, and let's look at what we're working with. And also, this horizon line is now set so low that our view of this hammer would actually be up here. Like, we would see this fist from below. So, we're just gonna... Ah, yes. My partner here is in the chat, and he's commented that it's a bit strange to watch the artwork just sort of magically appear on the canvas, because I don't have any sort of cursor turned on. I'm using an iPad, and I can see where I'm about to put the pen, but obviously you folks watching, for whomever will be watching afterwards as well, will not see any sort of cursor. You'll just sort of see like scribbles start to sort of appear, which that must be lots of fun. So I'm told that this is an improvised weapon. This is a hammer that this fella's just picked up. So I'm gonna need to... I'm actually not sure what kind of hammer, so I'm gonna make it like a sort of smith's hammer. One probably made of steel, with one blunt edge and one round edge. Sort of, it's called a ball-peen hammer, which it sounds spectacularly dirty, but is actually quite innocent. It's called ball because one end has a sort of very round surface, and I'm not sure what peen means. You can also make that a sort of sketchy sort of deal. Yeah. So now the reason we're seeing this hammer from below is because, again, we're above this horizon line, meaning that this will be above where the camera is, and the camera would be looking up at it. Now, normally when I'm drawing just for myself, I'm not quite so formal with the establishing the horizon line and the vanishing point. I sort of just start drawing, and where a vanishing line sort of appears, I'll just sort of say, oh, there we go, that's where the vanishing line's going to be, and I just sort of go with that. But of course, this is a piece that we're going to eventually be finishing, and because I'll be transferring this to physical media and finishing it there, we need to establish any sort of planning and stuff needs to be explicitly done, so that I don't have to do it while I'm inking. That's always frustrating and embarrassing. I could actually do the inks digitally, but I have a great fondness for physical ink. So right now they're not wearing any of their clothing or armor. That's fine. Because what will happen is we'll add it later. Oops, I forgot, and I used the red on her. She is actually this lovely pink color. This salmon. I forgot that I had been using that color for her already. So, let's refine this face. Now, I have a reference that I'm working from, and that was just a temporary placeholder face that I drew in there. I am going to swap to that reference now. Oh no! No! Kitty. No, you little chaos demon. Please, please don't yank the cords out, please. I love you, buddy. Buddy. No, I love you, buddy. I love you, buddy. Good boy. Get off the table. Good boy. Good boy. Okay, there we go. Well, that was chaotic. Hopefully we didn't lose anything. Okay, good. I think we're still live. Okay. I love you, buddy. Such a good boy. He's a sweet boy. He's reprimanding me. So we're just gonna sort of figure out the face a little bit better here. Now, I am not the best at drawing noses. They're always pointed in slightly the wrong direction for when I draw them. I always zoom out and I realize that the nose isn't pointed nearly enough to the right or the left compared to the rest of the face. And I never notice it while I'm drawing. It's always as I'm finishing up. You know, when you've really already committed to the lines that you've made. She doesn't look angry enough. I'm going to switch to a narrower pencil so that... Now, when a person is enraged, they will actually make very similar eye shapes to when they're, say, to when they're smiling. The bottom of their eyelid will come up like this. But the difference is that when they're smiling, the bottom eyelid will come up like this, and the top eyelid will actually raise. But in this case, the top eyelid will also narrow. So we just want to sort of accentuate the fact that she'll be putting pressure on the bottom side of her, on her bottom eyelids. Now, the nose is one of the features on a face that really gives it personality. So, and when you're basing it off sort of a person, it is one of the features that can really make or break whether or not the drawing looks like the person. More so than, I think, even the mouth or the eyes. Because the eyes in real life is a very... Ooh! My kitty just screamed at me. I think the voice cancellation the noise cancellation will probably have silenced it, though. The shape of the nose, I feel like, is what really captures the essence of the person. The nose and the eyebrows. Anything else you can actually sort of just make up, but it's really the eyebrows, the cheekbones, and the nose that really make or break the person's. I have perhaps made their forehead and their skull entirely too large. So we're going to, let's zoom out and see what that looks like. Well. Hairline, if we said the hairline was going to be here. Yeah, that's alright, that's fine. because we're going to be putting hair over that anyway. Yeah. Now, of course, it may not always be a good idea for a warrior to keep her hair long because it's something to grab, but of course a warrior isn't the only thing you are. You will also need to fill many other roles in life, and so if this person chooses to leave their hair long, and the Spartans famously kept their hair very long, and they would even braid it before battle. They would braid each other's hair before battle. It was part of how they bonded. And that sort of intimate bond was sort of, it was paired with intense training to give them an immense fighting spirit. So, it's not at all unrealistic for warriors to have just long flowing hair. Because in the chaos of battle, especially a pitched battle, you're not necessarily, everyone's going to be moving, you're not going to have time to do something as minute as seize their hair. Why would you waste time and effort seizing someone's hair when you could just stab them? Like what this guy's doing, he's bringing a hammer down on her head. He's not gonna waste time seizing her hair. Your hair would only really be it would really only get in the way of like a sort of really up close fight, like a sort of a fist fight or a wrestling match or something. It's not something you'd worry about when everyone's got armor and is swinging swords and hurling spears. No, don't worry about the hair. Nah. Long hair is not unrealistic in archaic battle. The only reason the modern militaries require you to keep your hair short is like to prevent lice. And that's if you're part of a proper military, because if you're part of a proper military, there's going to be several thousand of you living in very close quarters, and so if one of you has some sort of infection, it's very likely to very easily spread, such as parasites like lice. I'm just rambling. All right, okay. We've sort of got her face now. Now we just need to put her armor on. I do have a reference for what her armor should look like. So I will just be doing that now. So she is wearing she sort of looks like that blue and white alien thing from Dragon Ball Z, her armor. She's got like these big old shoulder pads that kind of stick way out here. You know what? For her armor, I'm just going to go ahead and swap back to a sort of purplish color. This isn't the color of the armor. This is just a visual shorthand for me so that I know it's not just, it's not just lines that I used for her. So she's got a sort of cuirass that covers her chest. She has a mail protecting the rest of her. This cuirass is actually a bit tighter up in here. There's a sort of neck plate. I can't quite understand it, so I'm gonna take a little bit of liberty and say there is a throat protector. And a sort of yeah, I'm gonna modify the design a little bit, because the design of the armor that I was given leaves the neck quite exposed, and I am a big believer. Mic check. Mic check. Okay, that's seems good. I think our stream might be back to normal. Okay, I'm seeing in the chat that the mic check went through, so I'm guessing that means we're good to go again. Okay, which means I'm gonna swap back now to the art stream. There we go. I was just fussing about the design of the armor. Having the solid ring of metal for the chest is very good, of course. You want to put as much barrier between yourself and the enemy's weapons as possible. Whether that be distance or armor. I do think that the shoulder guard sticking out quite so much may actually be an impediment, because it's possible for them to actually catch a blow that would otherwise have missed you. Shoulder guards tend to hug the arm. They tend to follow this pattern here, rather than this sort of sticky out bit. I think the flared out shoulder pads are definitely quite stylish, but I don't know that they would be practical. So all it comes down to now is, do I stick with the design document that I was given, or do I sort of make an artistic interpretation? Okay, so the character type for this character is something called a celestial, and one thing is that they sometimes will compromise between practicality and style. And you know what? Someone who is confident in their martial skill won't worry about if they'll get hit as much. So we are going to have the showy shoulder pads. It's something of a what's the word? It's something of a flex, isn't it? To have armor that's somewhat showy, have bits of it that dangle out. Quite famously, samurai ceremonial armor would have large helmets with lots of little wings and flares and horns and helms and such. People say that, the Vikings would never have worn horned helmets at a battle. That would have been a terrible design. It would get caught on things. It would limit their mobility. It would be an extra point of contact for if someone swung their weapons and it could have otherwise missed, but it could catch, that horn. So that may be the case, that their battle helmets maybe did not have the sort of big horns, but a chieftain whose job is to look intimidating rather than actually contribute anything to the fighting might wear something ceremonial and flashy. And you always have that one guy who he's carrying the standard, the banner, instead of actually holding a weapon. So he's not going to be able to fight. His whole job is to stand there and carry the banner for the other troops to rally around. So not every participant in a fight has to be armed to the teeth with the most cutting-edge gear or whatever. And even a ceremonial weapon or armor can, is made out of presumably high-quality material and can turn a blade. Okay, so that's basically this character down. Now, in the concept art that I was given, the character's hair is flying behind her quite a bit, so we may need to have her hair gusting dramatically in the wind. And for 2D animation, you can sort of think of hair as being a folded piece of fabric. You can sort of just draw the body of the hair as though it were a waving flag. You can model it using maybe like a little flag, or perhaps a towel, to sort of model what it will look like when it's caught the wind. Or like see Pocahontas, like that lovely flapping in the wind her hair does in that one scene during the music part of the music video. Not the music video, during the song and dance number in a musical. What's it called? I don't even know. But yeah, like hair, you don't have to. It doesn't have to look realistic necessarily. It just has to look believable and it has to look stylish. This isn't like a live action film. This isn't cosplay either. This is pure peacocking. This is comics. This is just gonna turn her frown a little sharper so that you can see her displeasure. My understanding is that the Celestials, in general, as a sort of general rule, are very prideful. They're very showy. They love in battle. They're as much performers as they are warriors. So it's not just enough to defeat your enemies. One must defeat them in a spectacular way. It sounds like if an enemy knows them well enough, they can that sounds like something that might be able to be exploited by a dangerous foe. Let's see. Let's make her displeasure a little sharper. All right. So, she looks, in terms of pencils, more or less ready. I think I have a basic understanding of what she's meant to look like and what she'll look like after she's been inked. This fella is another story. We've given this person no facial features yet. So let's go back to the aggressive looking blood red. And make him something of a brute. Swollen features. Thick eyebrows. A very rough shave. A stout chin. Haven't decided what we're going to do for hair yet. They might just be bald, but that sort of pure baldness, again, requires a sort of dedication to shaving that maybe this guy might just be a little too slovenly to have. give him the sort of strength that you get from doing things, from being physical. He's not going to have that sort of triangle-shaped beach body. He's very much going to have that sort of apple-shaped longshoreman type muscle. And again, I'm a little bit struggling to figure out what he should be doing with his other arm, because he is in combat, and so his other arm is likely counterbalancing what his striking arm would be doing. So if you were striking with your right arm, when your right arm goes forward to deliver the blow, it sort of rotates your whole body. So his other arm would probably have swung back. Like this. And his other hand, it may be clenched in a fist. Perhaps I should perhaps I should have it going for another weapon. Now, rage is a bit different than anger. Rage has you opening your eyes wider, usually. You still do, your bottom eyelid still does swell up a little bit, like it does come upward like this, but your upper eyelid will actually jump away from it. Rage actually does, it's also sort of like laughter, but also the opposite as well, because it does the same thing where the bottom eyelid jumps up and the top eyelid jumps away. But rage of course looks very different from laughter. The eyebrows, of course, will be different, and even the eyelid will be a bit different. Let's just have that big, angry eyebrow come forward like that. Oh, he's looking straight down here. No, that's not correct. So I've aimed the eyes the wrong way. Ding, ding, ding. Oh, yeah, I apologize. I'm singing something of a dirty tavern song about a drunk Scotsman and two curious girls. The name of the song is just called The Scotsman. And it is both funny and very dirty, so please don't sing it to your children or whatever. But I've already marked this stream as not for children, not necessarily NSFW, and I haven't sang any of the dirty words here. But if you were to be curious about it and wanted to look it up, it's called The Scotsman, and it's very bawdy. It is a dirty song. So this guy is a sort of muscle for hire. He'll have some armor, but it'll likely be shoddy, and he'll likely have assembled it himself, maybe from war trophies. So his armor is not going to match. And his armor will probably be very practical. It's just going to cover him. It's probably going to be ugly. It's not gonna be fancy or have like neat curves that flare out at the shoulders. His armor is very utilitarian. It's just gonna be useful. It might look scary, but it's not gonna be graceful and beautiful, and it's not gonna be very elf, basically. And because he's a merc, and his armor is made from pieces of armor he's looted over his battles, they not gonna have to match on the left and right side. There's nothing demanding symmetry from him. Let's see, what can we give him for his belt? I'm gonna say we're gonna do like a barbarian belt, like a big belt with like all sorts of things hanging off of it. Actually, this isn't really a barbarian belt. It's more like a sort of Greek belt. big leather straps hanging from one big leather strap. Yeah, let's go with a sort of let's go with an ancient Greek aesthetic. That's always a winner, right? Kitty says, meow. Hey, buddy, are you thinking I'm not paying you enough attention? Oh, such a good boy, such a good boy, such a good boy. One of these days, I'm gonna have a camera on my live stream. I'm gonna show you guys how cute my kitty is. Oh, he's such a good boy. He's the best boy. Genuinely, like, I can't look at him without crying. He's just so good. He's such a good boy. I mean, he's also a nightmare. Like, he bites me all the time. Not even like when I'm doing anything, just when I'm walking around, he'll come up and just yump right on my leg. I think it's how he shows affection. Because, I swear to God, like, cats don't laugh like humans do, but I swear to freaking God I can hear him laugh when he does it. Maybe I'm just crazy. Should I just have him bare-chested, maybe? The Greeks wouldn't have been shy about that. And we are sort of looking at a civilization at its nadir. Right? We are talking about a sort of crystal spires and togas type civilization. You know, between the sort of sci-fi look of the metal parts of the armor and the incredibly old-fashioned look of the mail of rings, she gives me a sort of Assassin's Creed, like, Isu vibes. Like, they're this bizarre combination of ancient Greek and sci-fi futuristic. That, like, it's so interesting because, like, they have that advanced technology, but they make some of their armor have pieces that just look so primitive. Like, it's interesting. Bits that are made with bronze. I mean, bronze is fine as armor, but it's not like an ideal armoring material. Let's give him long hair as well. Let's give him hair that looks long and a bit unkempt, but with like a hint of class and culture. Let's have it be like done up in like a fairly elaborate hairstyle. I'm thinking maybe something over the chest that looks like it's a bit small for him. Maybe a breastplate that doesn't cover his entire torso. Maybe Lorica armor, like that sort of strips of metal armor that the late Roman Empire had. Decisions. I was told that the look of the basically the football hooligan wasn't important. He was just a grunt number whoever, whatever. But my philosophy is always, make your background extras interesting. Maybe one of them will, catch your eye as a creator, and you'll elevate them to an antagonist, or even maybe a protagonist. Who knows? I like having visually interesting backgrounds, visually interesting sort of NPCs, as it were. You're probably getting me singing that. You're probably getting sick of me singing that same little musical refrain there. I'll find something else, or maybe I'll stop singing. That's probably what you'd prefer, huh? Mary, it's so easy to leave me all alone in if you touch me, you'll understand what happiness is. As a new day has begun. So usually a strip of armor like this would have straps holding it in place to the other side of the body. So let's just say that has a strap going there. This has another strap going over the other shoulder to hold that strap in place. And of course this is a strap running under this arm. But you probably wouldn't see that. There also probably, of course, would be a strap leading from here to the belt. I'm just gonna say it looks like suspenders. Suspenders? Is that what they're called? Braces, I think, is what they're called in the rest of the English-speaking world. Because suspenders, I think, is a sort of I think it holds your socks up. Okay, so her facial features don't show very well in that pink, so I'm going to accentuate it with a bit of black pencil. Now, as a showy aristocrat archetype, she will be wearing makeup, even for battle. I believe this strikes me as a sort of a society where even the men will wear makeup, probably, if it suited their purposes, even into battle. There's no one that can't be beautified with a bit of makeup, well applied. By a skilled artist. Sorry if I'm not talking very much right now. I'm just kind of in the flow of things. La di da di, la da 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 da, la di da da, da 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 da. It's so easy. Does that look angry enough? Because I don't think it's supposed to be like personal hatred. I think it's just begins to run. There once was a ship that put to sea, and the name of that ship was the Billy of Tea. The winds blew up her, about her, down below, my bully boys below. Soon may the Wellerman come, bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. Soon may the Wellerman come to bring us sugar and tea and rum. One day when the tonguing is done, we'll take our leave and go. Tell you what. Is that a bit too artificial? Does make his stance look a bit more aggressive, but it lets me show off a bit more of the hammer. It's also a bit less chainmail I'll have to draw. But it hides her hand, and it looks like I weaseled out of drawing another hand, and I don't want it to look like that. Yeah, there we go. I like that. I like the way this looks. Yeah. All right. Now, we're gonna need to eventually decide what goes in the background. It is a marketplace, so there will likely be stalls, maybe full of fruit, jewelry vendors. It is quite a fancy place. I don't know how fancy the market itself is, but the society that built it is quite in its crystal spires and togas phase. So maybe sort of stone arches. Oh, Mr. Author, if you are watching this, please feel free to pitch in with ideas. Oh, Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Make him the cutest that I've ever seen. I think it's nearing the end of, I think I am nearing the end of how much energy I have. I may need to put this away and go to bed for the evening soon. Oh, Mr. Sandman, bring me a dream. Make him the cutest that I've ever seen. Alright, I think this is a good stopping point. I think we're going to stop here for the night. I am quite tired, and I think we have made quite a lot of progress. I will take a screenshot of the progress that I have. I will send this in to the person who requested it, and we shall see what they think. We shall see what they think. If they enjoy this, we may do this again. We may do this further. We'll expand on some of these designs. Well, I shall see you guys next time. Have a wonderful, well, it's morning now. Have a wonderful whatever it is where you are.